Hello there, and welcome to a new episode of Why You're Bad. As I said in the last episode, this one will make profit of your newly acquired shooting accuracy and will be dedicated about tank weak points. In War Thunder, when shooting a tank, you can have more or less success in damaging it. What I mean by that is that there are multiple scenarios that can happen when you pull the trigger. First, the shell can bounce or not penetrate the tank at all. Maybe you hit a strong spot of armor, or maybe the angle of attack was too steep. Second, you can penetrate the tank but do very little damage. It can be caused by your shell being too weak or because you shot in a not so critical part of the tank. Lastly, you can pen the tank and either heavily cripple it or outright one-shot him. As you probably guessed, the ideal situation would be to one-shot every single tank you shoot in a game, sparing you time and shells. And that's precisely what we are aiming for today. Get it? Aiming for... Sorry. Why You're Bad 8. Learn the weak spots. As previously mentioned, in War Thunder, just like in real life, tanks have weak spots, and if you want to become a very good War Thunder player, you will have to know them all. Yes, the task may seem impossible, but don't worry, friends, I'm here for you. Let's start by stating the obvious. Usually, a tank's armor is much weaker on the sides and the rear than it is on the front. What it means is that you can pretty much destroy any tank with any other tank if you're on the side or the rear of the enemy. Am I right, M22? Of course, some tanks have stronger sides than the other, like the Russians, for example, but the same principle applies anyway. Do not forget that War Thunder offers you a tool to allow you to visualize where a tank's weak spots are. Just go in your hangar, preview the tank you want to study, and click on Armor. Select the tank and the shell you will be using against it, and voila! Your cursor now indicates where your shell will and won't penetrate, as well as the damage such shots would do to the target. Let's take an example, as usual. I'm a Sweden main, so let's say I want to play with my Delatorn, and the Delatorn is 5.0, so it will face 5.7 tanks up to 6.0, and usually facing allies, so let's check this. For the example, we'll analyze the mighty Jumbo that is quite feared in 5 HBR battles because of its monstrous upper plate. As you can see here, in my Delatorn I have zero chance to go through it. So, what do you do if you happen to face a Jumbo in a game in a Delatorn? You have two solutions. The first is a very known weak point, which is the MG port. It is much less armored and can be easily penetrated. However, sometimes people like to cover their tanks under bushes, so you won't be able to see the port, especially in RB. This is where the second solution arrives, the shot trap. What is a shot trap? This. To put it simply, a shot trap is a spot, usually on the turret, that will make automatically bounce the incoming shell right towards the interior of the tank, making the shell detonate into the crew compartment. There are several very known shot traps in the game, such as this one, the American T-32, and the IS-2. Of course, there are a lot more shot traps in the game, so feel free to experiment on the tanks you face in battles. But be advised that this technique should not be relied on. It is extremely hard to hit a shot trap willingly, and even more in the heat of battle, but now at least you know that you can try it as a last resort move. Now that this is covered, let's see something else. Each nation has specificities that set them apart from the others. For example, Russia has quite armored mediums and overprotected heavies. Americans have nimble mediums with average armor which can be relied on. And finally, Italy has very light tanks, and their most armored tanks are foreign medium tanks, like the M4 Tipo. It is up to you to discover each nation both by playing as and against, since it would be far too long to do it here. I hear you wondering, but what's the point? I generally have to aim center mass, shoot and... BOOM! Headshot! Well, yes, but actually, no. Sometimes you will have to aim a bit more precisely, especially when going up the ranks. Try aiming center mass in your T-44 against a Königstiger. and you will experience a very unpleasant emotional event. Around 7.0 or even 7.7 BR, tanks start to have some serious armor, and your best bet is to learn where these precise weak points are, and to aim at them as fast as you can. Why? Because top tier. If you want to succeed in top tier, you will have to learn pixel perfect weak spots, and how to shoot them lightning fast, otherwise be assured that the guy you're facing will do the same to you. Of course, you're the only one to choose whether or not you want to try the top tier experience. I personally love it, since it's very skill based and quite demanding, as long as there are no helicopters. But that's another topic, so yeah. And that's pretty much it. The episode was quite short, but newer players tend not to have so much trouble regarding shooting, so I did not have so much work to do here, apart from giving you some quick tips to at least understand why your shots penetrate and why some don't. Now you have everything to be a killer on the field. On a less happy note, the series is coming to an end, and I will probably try to do another special episode to wrap everything up, and maybe a third one to try to condensate every episode and to apply each concept in only one bow. I don't know yet. You can tell me in the comments what you would like to see. You can also check my new series War Thunder Academy, in which I review my gameplays, good or bad, to teach you why it went well or wrong. Anyway, as always, I hope you liked this episode, and I'll see you, my friends, in the next one.